Welcome to the Power Lunch Podcast, your midday dose of boldness, brilliance, and a little bit of badassery. I'm Amy Sousa, here with my powerhouse co-hosts, Tracie Munce and Lisa Carmichael, and we're coming in hot to shake things up. Each week, we dish out bite-sized, high-impact conversations on business, health, purpose, wealth, and the wild, beautiful chaos in between. Whether you're building your dream, rebooting your story, or just catching your breath, this is your space to get grounded, inspired, and reignited. This isn't just another podcast, it's your power move. Let's go.
Welcome back to the Power Lunch Podcast from the Glass Ceiling Foundation. Today's conversation is deeply aligned with why this foundation exists: to create spaces where women can heal, rise, and reclaim what has been taken from them. We are joined by Stacey Burr, founder of Ember in Bloom Foundation and Ember in Bloom Collective. Stacey is a mother, a community builder, and a woman who has stepped fully into her purpose, creating trauma-informed yoga, meditation, and holistic wellness programs for survivors of domestic and sexual abuse, as well as the advocates of who support them. Ember and Bloom provides healing services directly in communities and workplaces, helping women reconnect with their bodies, regulate their nervous systems, and reclaim themselves one breath at a time. I've had the privilege of walking alongside Stacey as she brought the nonprofit paperwork to life and stepped into this new chapter. And I'm honored to serve on the board as this vision continues to grow. Stacey, we are so grateful you're here and so proud of the work that you're doing.
Wow, that's so inspiring. Like in my job. That's it.
So, what was the moment when Ember and Bloom shifted from an idea to a calling in June?
Yeah. So, um, completing my yoga training in June, as I was and I remember the night I was rocking my littlest daughter, and I was just kind of thinking about where I wanted to take this new journey. And I know I could take it into a studio, but I have always had a passion for helping women, especially those that have experienced trauma in their life from domestic or sexual abuse. And it just kind of came to me that, like, I can use these tools that I have used myself and that I have been practicing, and I can start helping others. And it just like snowballed into like this vision that felt so clear to me. And I believed in it from day one. And so I started sharing it, and people gravitated toward it and started telling me about just how much it's needed in the community. And I did my research, and there really wasn't much out there for this. And so that's kind of how it started after that.
Outstanding. So I'm looking at your website right now, which has a lot of different things going on. Yoga being what you, and then you have sound healing and Reiki healing. What have you seen? So walk me back just a little bit. So you've been a nonprofit for
We became nonprofit in October,
okay.
and we just launched in January. So we are very new. We, are on that slow course of like making our connections and getting out the word in the community. A big partner of ours is Violence Free Minnesota, and they are the largest hub in Minnesota, with over 90 programs statewide. And so people come to them for trainings and outreach programs and things like that. And so they blasted us all over. And so we have been getting some outreach from different organizations wanting us to come in, and whether it's yoga, meditation, sound healing, Reiki, um, they're wanting us to come in and either do it for people that they're supporting or for their staff. We have one kind of in the works in May that will be like a half day retreat. So we're also going to be focusing on retreats. So yeah.
How has that helped? How you come from a history of this. That's
Yeah.
just where this all started, right? Like
Right.
a history. So how has yoga helped you in your path to healing?
hmm Um, I've practiced yoga for over 20 years. I started in my early 20s, maybe even before that. And at that time, it was all about fitness. It was all about, getting stronger, looking better type thing. Today, that has really nothing to do with it. Um, and so what kind of got me onto this journey is during my divorce, because I am a survivor myself, I found meditation and I really dug into my spirituality. And I feel like that it saved my life. And um, so, as someone who has, not just myself going through it, but, as a child, I went through it. And so my mom's a survivor as well. Um, just learning that there are tools out there that we have within ourselves that can help get us out. Like when people go through a traumatic experience, especially abuse, our bodies get stuck in this survival mode of that fight, flight, and freeze state. And so it lives in our body. It's not just our mind. And so what I found is that this holistic world of these practices really help calm the body. It helps you reconnect. Um, it makes you feel safe. And so it's not, we're not out there trying to fix people and to fix their problems. We're out there to show them that there are tools that you have already within you that you can tap into and you can practice to start to feel grounded and to trust yourself again.
So when you're doing your events, are they only for people that would be in survivors of those of abuse and sexual trauma, or can anybody come to your classes?
Yep. So we kind of have a little bit of everything. So the foundation itself is really set up to support specifically at this time women survivors. And so our services are free to them. And what that kind of looks like is right now in the stage that we're at, we are trying to partner up with already established organizations that are already supporting these women, and then us coming in and providing it's whether they want to do a sound bath or yoga or meditation. Um, so I want to keep it free to them. Uh, I think that when people are in this state of trying to figure out their next step, fitness and doing these type of things are like the last thing on their mind. And so it's really just being able to provide that experience to them and let them know about it. Um, and then to the advocates, it's also free. However, we do have where community programming. So like this Sunday, I'll be at 9 Mile Brewing and it's in Bloomington. And we're gonna do that every second Sunday of the month. And that is community yoga and a sound bath. And so all proceeds go to Ember and Bloom Foundation. Um, but that's open to everyone.
Right.
And then we do have on there because you can because there's one that's more for like companies and stuff. Anything that we do with a company that strictly isn't for a survivor, that the proceeds go to the nonprofit.
Love it.
So
Love it.
And you're taking care of the teachers too, because you have teachers that are volunteering their time to offer these services.
yeah, so starting out until we really get some like good foundation and our sponsorships and our funding, it is volunteer. However, Ember and Bloom, I strongly believe like I want to compensate them for their time. So any of the classes that we teach, I will compensate those teachers once we're able to do that.
I love this. We have a lot of things going on in the news right now around survivors and the way that that's being portrayed. So I first just want to say thank you because I think that if now isn't the time that we stand up and support, when will it be the time? So thank you very much for what you do. Of everything that you do, what do you think has the greatest impact right now for people coming into your community? Is there one thing specifically, or in that, is there something as an outsider that I can help to foster this message or foster this healing process?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that there's like one avenue. I think that for survivors themselves or anyone that is like in the process of kind of getting out of um, that traumatic lifestyle, I think it's knowing that like they're not alone and that community that you can build, like knowing that there's other people to support you is everything. I'm super lucky. I have like an amazing mother and sisters and best friends. And like, I don't know how I would have like been where I am today without them. But like, some people are by themselves. And I can't even like fathom what that must feel like.
And it's almost that was by design, keeping them by themselves, so that way then you can't get out of the cycle of
Yes.
trauma or
Yeah.
hurt.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I think a huge thing, is like, yes, we're giving them these tools, but it's really giving them a community because, we can help a survivor that is in a program somewhere. They're seeking help through a different organization. But when they are kind of moving on, like the hopes would be like either they're practicing these tools at home or they're becoming part of the community at a studio that they, connect with. Um, and like just bringing that into their life. So,
And how can we help? What's more
yeah,
that we can do?
I think just like supporting, right? Like going to the website, like following us on our social media, you know, following the newsletter, which still has yet to come. Like I said, we're new. There's a lot that still needs to be done. And then obviously, like we have a donation spot on there, um, which any amount is helpful. I always kind of like when people are like donating and you think like, oh, I have to like donate like this certain amount, if it, whether that's 20 or 50, or you feel like you have to do more, like really, like if everyone did like $1, it might help my yeah. Like you could raise if everyone just did $1. But yeah, and then we do have like a sponsorship program in place. And so that kind of has tiers to it and kind of what we provide back to them. Um, we are in the works for a big domestic uh, violence awareness gala, and that's in October since that is the month. Um, and
It all works with connections. Stacey has the most amazing connections, and very excited for this.
yeah, which I never thought. Like I came from a background of sales and marketing in the hotel industry, and I was jokingly, but kind of not. I was like, I have had more connections and more meetings with women and people than I feel like I ever did in my whole career, in like my professional career, right? Because it just it just is coming so like easy. Like I don't know,
Falling
it's
together.
falling
Yeah.
together. And I truly just, yeah.
And what does that tell you? What message can you learn from that? Can
I,
you
I
see?
I think that I got here because I started focusing on myself. Like I am a mother of two, and I know that mothers.
Weird, like crazy ages.
Yes, so
15 and
16 and 4. And you would think that they wouldn't fight, but they do all the time. I'm like, why? But I think so many of us women that are mothers, or even just women in general that are like caregivers, right? Like we always like put everybody first and like we feel guilty when we take time for ourselves. I have become one of those people that I don't feel guilty. I am a better person and a better mother when I take time for myself. And so I think this just all came because I started doing that. I started putting myself first. I I tell my daughters all the time, like, the person you need to love the most is not me, it's not dad, it's not grandma, it's yourself, you know? And so I think that's just I've been living and transitioned my life into something that I feel really grateful for. I'm very balanced in like work life and experiences, and I think that's just how it came together.
Yeah. Stacey, if a woman listening today feels stuck in survival mode, where do you think that they should start?
Um, there's always outreach lines, right?
Mhm.
Where you can contact them. I know, and there's many of them. Not to name drop or anything, but or maybe I can name drop. I don't even know. But
Yeah, do it.
Cornerstone in Bloomington, um, they were actually a client of mine when I was in the hotel industry. So that's how I knew of them. Um, and um, they help women get out of these situations. And so I've been going there once a month to do some yoga, and we're going to start doing staff as well. So, otherwise,
That they're doing staff as well, because I think that sometimes we forget that,
yeah.
or we need to be supportive of the people that are supporting. So
Yeah, it takes a lot of energy. A huge inspiration, a person in my life is my mom. Um, she has worked with victims her entire life. So I think her title is technically like victim witness coordinator. She's in Wisconsin. But now and then, more so than I probably want, like I hear stories and I'm just like, how do you do this? Like, how do you listen and you deal with like these children and all this stuff? And it's like, you know, you- we take on that energy.
Mhm.
So like we have to like that becomes a part of us too when we're helping others. So we have to make sure that we know how to stay regulated and stay balanced and grounded. So like we can continue to do that work. And yesterday I was talking to her and she was just kind of telling me a little bit about a situation that she's dealing with a victim. And she's like, you would think after 30 years I would just want to be done with this, but she's like, somebody has to do it. Somebody needs to be there. And I'm like, yeah, that's so true.
so much mad love for your mom right now.
I thought.
I get she's very proud.
She is. And I was not the best teenager. Imagine that. Yes, I was not. And you get that remark, you get whatever that saying is like, because I'm kind of going through stuff with my oldest, and it's like, well, you weren't the best either.
The payback.
But the feedback, there you go. But yes, today, I mean, my mom and me are like the closest. So
Nice.
yeah.
That's nice. So starting a nonprofit, it's not as easy, but it can be easy. But I am curious now that you're this far into the process. What fears do you have as you see this really fully becoming something big?
I'm a Virgo, so I am a doer.
Are you a Virgo, Tracy?
Absolutely. So far from a Virgo.
We've great in business. We are so far apart.
So like I want instant gratification and I want things now and I put a lot on myself, but for some reason this I know is a slow moving thing. And this isn't I've held many hats in my life and careers. And for the first time, like this isn't something that I'm just gonna like in a year or two, like, oh, you know what? I think I'm done. I need to do something different. Like this is something I plan to do for the rest of my life. Um, and so, sorry, your question,
Your biggest fear.
my biggest fear is that it gets too big and we're not ready. because we need teachers and we need those donations to come in and for things to kind of have a really good base so then we can be successful. Um, I've been really like any sort of like little backfall, like usually I would take that to heart and it would like make me question things, but I can't allow that to happen.
I think
So
with any business, you know when you know. You just know.
yeah, I've
This
never
is
had that feeling before until now. So it makes sense.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Well, the mission is too big.
Mhm.
I mean, it's too big
Yeah.
to not be prepared
Yeah.
for. And
Yeah. And we have, I mean, a goal of mine is to be moving this into other states. So the next would be Wisconsin. That's where I'm from and my mom. And so, and then there's some talk about um, getting an app that it would allow for a nationwide type thing. But that's like just coming into thought and stuff. And that's like something I can't even, wrap my head around right now. But yeah, there's big things to come. I just know it. And
Amazing.
yeah.
Amazing work.
Stacey, thank you for this conversation and all the work that you're doing in our community through Ember and Bloom and for your heart and your courage.
Well, thank you.
Bring us.
Thank you, Trace.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Love that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go.
Thank you so much for joining us for today's episode. If something we shared sparked a new idea, gave you a fresh perspective, or simply made you feel seen, we'd love for you to pass it on. Share this episode with a friend, a colleague, or a fellow powerhouse woman who's walking her own journey. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe so you'll never miss an episode. Until next time, keep showing up, keep rising, and remember, there's no ceiling you can't break through.